Okay, so hi guys, hi everyone, and welcome to another workshop section for ADK-TS Hackathon. So I'm so excited to have you guys join us today for I think this is the final workshop for the hackathon. Since the hackathon is almost over, so it's just left. We just have like 1 week left for everyone to finish their project and complete their submission. So in this workshop, I'm having two other people joining me, which are um let's see, okay. So which are the dev teams, the developers that are working on ADK-TS. So they're also part of the IQAI team. So we have Shujan and we have Marvel, and both of them are going to like be demoing giving us some tips and trick no, not tricks, some tips, and they'll be demoing a project, showing us and answering some questions that you guys have concerning your project. Some questions like, did you structure your project very well? What's the best way to deploy your project? And what else again? um how did I properly connect my MCP servers or tools? So that's what this section is going to be about. It's going to be about helping you to get ready to be submission ready. So you're almost complete with your project, or maybe some of you who just recently joined the hackathon. You're about to start the hackathon, and you're trying to like build it, make sure everything is shiny, is fine, and everything is ready for you to submit. So how do you ensure that what you did at like is submission ready, and then how do you deploy it? Where do you want to deploy it to? So that's what basically this final workshop is all about. So for firstly, let's see, we're going to be having Marvel, who is going to talk to us. Is going to give us a quick recap on how to set up your project and how to use the ADK command line. So for you to like do if to test your agent before submission, and then if you are still joining us for the hackathon, we welcome newcomers. There's still time for you to like build something amazing before you submit it. So I would be adding Marvel to the call now, and let's see, Marvel. So hi Marvel.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
Okay. So just introduce yourself, what you do, and that's it.
Okay, I'm Marvel. I'm a software, or Marvelous rather, and I'm a software engineer at IQAI, and I'm part of the team behind the ADK-TS and our famed ADK-CLI. So I'm going to be sharing and talking about the CLI today. Uh, You might have seen it. Uh, you can easily access it from the ADK-TS webpage, which can be found at adk.iqi.com. Uh, when you click Get Started, the CLI can be found in the Select option. And yeah, this is it talks about the CLI. So the CLI can be installed using pnpm, npm, yarn, and bun. You can install it globally, and that gives you access to use ADK command in your terminal. In my example, I already have ADK installed, so I wouldn't be installing the CLI, but I'm going to be showing you what you can do with the CLI. You can use the CLI to quickly bootstrap a project using either the simple agent or other templates already created for you. And using the CLI, you have access to certain commands like the ADK new for creating a new project, ADK run for running the agent, ADK web that brings out a web interface for interacting with your agent, helpful for debugging and interacting with specific agents. And we have ADK start serve that gives you an API server for deploying your agent. So these commands, I mean, you can misplace them. So we also have adk-help or adk-h, which quickly reminds you of these commands. You could also check the ADK version you are on using ADK-V. Um, I am currently on version 0.3.18. So right now I'll be creating a new agent using ADK new. It asks you what you would like to call your agent, which I'll be calling my um, demo agent, and I'm going to be using the simple agent template. The simple agent template, oh, before we talk about that, it asks us what package manager we would like to use, and we'll be using PNPM. They are known for speed and proper disk management. So while that goes on, I'm going to be talking a little about the simple agent. The simple agent gives you a root agent and two already built agents, the joke agent and the weather agent. So quickly, we're going to like seed into our new agent and run it or open it in our browser rather, or in our code editor. Yes. So in our simple agent, we can see the root agent, which is in the agent folder, we have agent. The index.tsx or .ts rather runs the get root agent, and then we can interact with the agent we created using outside ADK CLI using our pnpm dev command. And so when we run something like that, it runs the index.cs, which in this case, we are calling our get root agent and passing some questions to it. I will show a quick example right after we configure our environment. Um, as you can see in our ENV example, we have ADK debug. What does ADK debug do? It allows us to see the processes going on under the hood, the agent being called, the amount of token being used, and other information that will be useful for debugging. And we have the Google API key, which would be used for making the LLM call. Additionally, we also have, I believe we have the LLM model. You can also find that in our env.cs. Yeah, the LLM model is used to set, what specific model you want to use for your project or for your agent. By default, it's set to Gemini 2.5 Flash. That is why it is not set in our ENV example. So we'll be creating our ENV down. It's very important for you to remove these comments as they interact or they affect these ENV variables and make it impossible for them to be passed properly. Uh, I'm going to pass my API key, and we're going to quickly run our agent using the pnpm command first. During the ADK setup, we had ADK install the packages, so we do not need to run pnpm your pnpm install. Now we have pnpm dev, and it ran our index or tsx file or the ts file rather, which has the question set, how is the weather in London, and tell me a random joke. Our agent has already responded to the telling us the weather in London at 13 degrees Celsius, and it is getting the response for a random joke. While it does that, believe while it does that, we can quickly walk around the agent.ts file. Now, the agent.ts file in the simple agent can be found in the source folder. Um, It contains the root agent, like we've mentioned before, and two sub-agents. So it is created using the agent builder. It has a .create method, which gives you a description, with instruction, with model, with subagent and dot build. You also have other methods you could pass to the agent builder, but it's encouraged to check out the docs to find out which will be more suited for your use case. In our case, we're using the with sub agent after passing our model from our env.llm model. We are passing two sub agents, the joke agent and the weather agent. Now, both joke agents and weather agents are created using the let's see, they're created using the LLM agent that is imported from IQAI ADK. And the new LLM agent takes in the name, description, model, and a tool. So this tool or the tool is responsible for running queries, for handling things, and then returning a response back to the specific sub agent, which then hands over the information to the root agent. Now, in our case, this agent created with create tool, this tool rather created with create tool calls an API request to official jokes API, yeah, and it gives us the response which is passed or returned back to our joke agent. Similar approach is done with our weather agent, which calls a tool that calls a function, or the tool has a function that makes an API call to this weather provider, weather information provider. So that's it quickly about your project setup with the SQL agent. We'll be talking about ADK CLI and the things he allows you to do. Yeah. So like I mentioned before, we have certain commands with ADK. You could use ADK/H to help you see them. But the command we'll be talking about right now is ADK run. And ADK run helps you run your agent in the terminal. So using ADK run, it asks you what agent would you like to chat with. It gives you the option to chat directly with the sub agent as opposed to where we have PM dev. ADK using the ADK CLI allows you to chat directly with the agent, the root agent, the sub agent, and get your response back directly in the terminal. So we get an instant response. I'm going to be terminating this quickly to set our ADK debug to true. And when we do that and do ADK run again, this allows us to see feedbacks, what goes under the hood, useful for debugging. Now you see we get certain logs we did not have access to before. Tells us, oh, it's starting the LLM agent from the root agent. It tells us the single flow is initialized. At the bottom, we see it tells us when it transfers to an agent, tells us the context of what was passed to the agent, tells us, the description or the instruction the agent is using. It also tells us the amount of token it uses. Where is that? Well, it gives us useful information that we can use to improve our app, optimize, debug, and other things. The weather agent responds with the weather in London. We could also ask tell me a joke. Remember, we're interacting with the root agent, and now he hands over to the root agent, so the joke agent, which responds with this joke. Why did the programmer always carry a pencil? They prefer to write in C sharp rather. Now, we'll be done with the ADK run command. Now we're going to talk about ADK web. ADK web gives us a web interface that is useful, very, very beautiful when interacting with our agent. Just gives a nice UI to it. Now, ADK Web can be accessed when your terminal is running using adkweb.iqi.com. It creates this very neat interface for interacting with your agent locally. Now we can see on the name of the agent, we are interacting with the root agent. We we can pass in specific prompts using ADK web, like, oh, tell me a joke, where we know it's going to hand off to the joke agent. Yes, right? It hands off to the joke agent, and that gives us a joke. But on the top right, we could also choose what agent we want to interact with. So this is very helpful for debugging, let's say, or interacting with your agent. Let's say you have a lot of agents and you don't really want to specify that, or use a prompt to like speak to one particular agent. This is really helpful when you particularly just want to debug the weather agent. For instance, say hi by default would pass us to the root agent, but selecting weather agency and saying hi would pass us to the weather agent, which handles our query quite well. We also have the sessions where we can look into what sessions we have going on. We have our events, which also is useful for debugging because yeah, we can see what event is um is being called at the moment. It will also, one second, there we go. We get a response from the weather agent. Now it also give us the content, the event ID, and actions going on under the hood, which are quite helpful for debugging. Um, we also have the agent graph, which shows us, the agent. I mean, in a more complex scenarios, tells us the shows us the agent, the tools under each agent, helpful for debugging to know knowing what is connected to what under the hood. Let's see. We also have teaming for those of us that are particularly interested in the dark team. So that is it quickly for the ADK web. ADK Web is actively under development, so sometimes you might run into certain issues using it. It is encouraged to report those issues to the team using the Discord channel. We have the what's the name of the channel? We have the help and support channel. You could also, or it's not encouraged to tag the devs directly, but you could just create it in the help and support channel, and somebody will check it out quickly. Um, Yeah, and in an instance, ADK is quite broken that you cannot use it. Remember, you could also quickly use the pnpm command for interacting with your agent, pnpm dev command for interacting with your agent and getting stuff started. So now we're going to be looking at another example that is more defined than the simple template, and I'll be handing off to another engineer at IQI. But I think Timorwa would need to come back to do that.
Yeah, so thank you, Marvel, for that wonderful presentation. So we've seen how we could use the ADK CLI to like debug our agents. And we also saw how we can use that agent debug variable to be able to see the thought process of our agent in the terminal. So now we are going to be moving over to Srujan, who is going to show us another demo of a more complex agent on how it's going to look like, how you can, like an agent with more tools or MCPs, and how you could properly structure that agent so that everything works properly and effectively. So let's move over to Shujan. Let me add him to the screen. Yeah. Hi, Shujan.
So my name is Sujan. I'm also part of the ADK-TS team. So I'll quickly start by sharing my screen. Okay, I hope I am visible.
Yes, you are.
So yeah, starting with ADK-TS, the first thing I would like to mention is that it is highly recommended to go through the examples that we have. So these examples, they start from the simple agent and they slowly build up with various concepts that we have with ADK. So by this, at the end of like the 12th example, you would be like very well equipped with the knowledge of ADKTS that you have. So that being said, we can switch back to the project that we're gonna demo. So it is Task Master Bot. So we created this project to basically explain how ADK works, like how ADK projects are structured and how they are deployed, and yeah, the features of ADK. So this Task Master Bot is built for actually yeah, yeah, it is an intelligent productivity management assistant basically. So it can help you manage your reminders and also like the shopping list that we have. So this is the meaning that we have, like showcases all the features that we have, like the smart reminders, which can like pretty flexible with how we're gonna mention the reminders. We can just say like remind me to go to shop tomorrow at 2 p.m. or maybe next Monday or maybe in 2 hours. It will remind you via the Telegram bot, and you can schedule these reminders, and you can even do the recurring reminders like daily, weekly, perhaps to remind you about your meetings. And also it has the features for viewing and managing your reminders, and also it has capability to manage your shopping list. So you can add items to your shopping list, and you can ask your agent to update or delete items easily. So yep, to get started, yeah, we have like the env. So we'll have to place our Google API key. And also for this, we'll be using the database, and this is a Telegram bot. So this is the project structure that we have. Um, there are so yeah, I think this is something that people are like a bit confused about how to organize the projects. We have like this agents convention where each agent we recommend you to actually write it inside agent.ts and then export it. That way it would be very easy for you to actually manage very big project with, that has like a lot of agents. So in this case, we have how many agents, like one, two, three, yeah, total three agents, and then one is the root agent that we have, the task manager. So total four agents that we have here, and there are like four agent.ts files. That's why, and also some agents have tools, as you can see, and also we have like one service that will be going further when we explain it. So yeah, let's get started with the code. So first things first, we'll be going to the index.ts file. So this is the main uh, file. When you run it on your server, this gets run. So first, we have the create task master agent. So this is a root agent that we have, and once we get that agent, we are just running that agent via this another agent that we have. It is Telegram agent, and then we are running some service. I'll be explaining it further. So this is reminder notification service, which uses this particular agent to basically send reminders and stuff. And we have a very simple code to gracefully handle the shutdown and then keeping the process alive. So the main code that we have is create task master agent. So if you go to the agents, we have two agents that we have. One is Telegram agent, and other one is this is the main agent that we have, task master agent. So if I quickly go into this, you can see that we have the taskmaster agent, and we are actually exporting the Rana session and session service from this. So this agent is responsible to actually hand over two reminder agent and shopping list agent, because these are the two functionalities that we have, and we gave it a pretty uh, robust system prompt. So this is the instruction that we have. We are just mentioning our core capabilities, what it is capable to do. So it's we are giving it like the state management query and all. So just so it knows what it is capable of. and also we are giving it the reminders that it has, and then the current shopping list. So this is the syntax that we have for system instructions, where the ADK would actually inject the state that we have in here. So in ADK we have state, the concept of state. So in this case, the initial state is just the empty array. So we are passing this initial state to a service, because this is the agent, right? We need to actually store the agent messages that we are producing. To store it, we actually need a session. So by default, the agent builder would use in-memory session service. So even if you don't add this, it would be using in-memory session. But in our example, we are using the database session that we have. So we'll be using Postgres database session. So in this case, we're getting the env, the database URL, and we are passing this to the create database session service. Um, and then with this, you actually get the session service, and this session service you can get the get session to get this session of this, and then you can try to not create a session if it already exists. The session already exists. If it doesn't exist, then it will create one. Because our app is only one, has only one user, so there would only be one session. That's why, like, we are trying to not create that many sessions. So because we only have one user and one session, we are just hard coding our user ID and session ID, and the app name is required for this session, uh, so that even if you create like multiple agents, you can just use one database. So for that, we also need to pass app name, a user ID, and initial state and session ID. So once this session is created, you can just easily pass it with the with session. And then to manage the session internally, we also need to pass the session service that we created the session with. So once this is done, we given our description, we given our session service and session. We also given our model, which model we are going to use, and instructions. And also we discussed about how we formatted the instruction and how we are going to get the state in here. The framework itself would be injecting whenever it sees this curly braces and a familiar name in here, because we have initial state. So it recognizes that it is a part of the state, and it replaces this with the actual reminders that we have. Similarly with the shopping list as well. So and we're continuing with the prompt and the response style, and then the good responses, just so it can know how to actually give the response. And this is all. This is just the root agent. And then it has sub agents, as we said, like the reminder agent and shopping list. So we can go through the sub agents folder here. So we are organizing it as how many. This is the root agent. So it itself has like sub agents. So we are having a sub agent folder, and then inside it we have like multiple agents. So for the simple one, let's just go through the shopping list agent. So what is there inside this? So this is a bit different, because it is not using the agent builder. It is using LLM agent. So with this, we can just simply create an agent. But if you are using agent builder is also would be giving you the runner to actually run the agent, and also it would give you the agent and all. So for actually running the agents, it is recommended to use agent builder. So if we are going with the ADK Python version, which is maintained by the Google, there is no agent builder concept there, and you have to actually use runner, which is also there in the agent-TS as well. But we are giving you a wrapper called agent builder, so you can actually easily create the runner yourself without actually like having more code to bootstrap at the start. So this agent builder simplifies the code for you, which actually manages the runner and sessions inside it if you give it. So yeah, that is the difference. Create shopping list agent. We are giving the LLM agent. returning it, and inside it we are giving it a name shopping assistant, and then the description. So this description is actually used to let the root agent determine that it needs to hand over to the shopping list agent. So this is important, and the instruction is used when this agent is active. When the root agent handovers it to the shopping list agent, this system instruction is used for the further calls. So in here as well, we are defining what is the expected behavior for this, what are its capabilities, and also the guidelines and how to format the response. And then we are giving tools to the shopping list agent. So these tools are actually stored inside the tools.ts file. So when we go into this, you can see like there are many tools in here. So let's go through some of the tools. So one is the create tool. So this create tool, we can import it from IQAI ADK, which actually requires the name, description, and then the schema. So these tools are actually are used to make your agent do some stuff. So for example, in this, we are letting agent giving the functionality to the agent to actually add items to your shopping list. So in this case, we have state, right? So in the root agent that we have, we give an initial state of empty array for the shopping list. So we can actually update this initial state through various ways throughout the ADK-TS framework. So one way we can actually update this state is via the context in the tool. So we have create tool, and then we have a context in here in the function, and we can actually get the state with context dot state dot get, and then you can update that particular state by doing this set name of the state, and then the new updated list that we have in here. So when we do this, internally the ADK-TS would be updating this. So everywhere, even in the system instruction for the subsequent runs, this would be updated. So that is the power of the state inside the ADK. So now we have the create tool here. So the schema you can pass in the Zord schema, and then have a nice descriptive describe here. So it knows the agent knows what it expects, and then yeah, this is the schema. And similarly, we have the view shopping list. This would actually give all the list, all the details that we have in here about the shopping list. So shopping list, pending items, completed items, total count, pending count, and so on. So this, and then we also have update item. So updating is also similar. You first get the state, and then you get which index to be updated, what is the updated text, what is the updated quantity, and then the agent would be able to run this. It would pass in the correct required parameters that is given by the user in the plain text. It gives in the format that the tool can actually recognize, and it gets these variables, and then it runs this code, and it updates the state. So the rest of the tools also does the similar things. So mark complete, clear completed items, and so on. So these are all the tools that the shopping list is capable of. And this is done. The next agent that we have is the reminder agent. So as we recall, the reminder agent is used for setting the reminders. So we again a reminder agent. Yeah. So again, this has the agent.ts and then tools.ts. We give it we return the LLM agent here, and then we provide the instructions. These instructions again we will be clearly explaining what it is capable of, and also giving the guidelines of how actually it works, and how to um, call respective tools that we have. Like in this case, like there are a lot of tools. So these tools we have like add reminder, view reminder by type, update reminders, delete, schedule reminder, because it also handles the schedules. And also like we have like a get current time, just so it gets confused and it wants the current time. And also it has like similarly upcoming reminders, recurring reminders, get next recurring reminder, and then modify recurring schedule. These are all helper functions to actually let it manage our reminders. So if we go through this code, actually we are using this package Chronos node. So this also helps us to pass the more user-friendly dates that we have, like in here. Oh, this one, yeah. So we have add reminder. So in this case, we are letting the user to the agent to actually pass in the reminder that is passed by the user in the chat. And also it gives us the schedule time. For example, in next 2 hours and next Monday. Similarly, how we can give it in a natural language about the time. This time is actually passed by this Chronos library that we have in here. So it gives us the date. With this date, we can actually use this to schedule in our state. So here also, we are just doing the passing in here. We are validating stuff, and then again we are getting the reminders, and just we are updating the state that we have, the reminder state. Again, this is coming from the root agent. We have reminders as well in here in the initial state along with the shopping list. So in this agent, it would be mainly updating this reminder state. And as for the types, like the reminder array would be storing these reminders basically. This is the state. So reminder would be like this, and the shopping list would be like this. So similarly, all these tools, they try to pass what the tool gets input, and then it just updates the state accordingly. So the code looks a bit complicated because there are a lot of logic for the passing and stuff, and also like this setting the state. So this all is done by just setting the state. So these are the tools that we have. These are the agents that we have. So two agents and then all the tools. So that is the root agent that we discussed so far. And now we can go through the MCP that we have, that is Telegram agent. So this Telegram agent, there is a concept called sampling handlers. This is native to MCPs. So for MCP servers, you can actually pass in callback. So whenever the MCP server wants to have something generated, so it can just run that sampling handler, and then the user, I mean, the client itself would be able to run that message, and then it would respond back. So in this case, we are using this to actually pass messages from Telegram. So we can actually take in the messages from the Telegram and then respond with our agent. So this is the callback that we are having. We'll be going through this at the index again, and we are passing it to our Telegram tools. In this Telegram tools, we are getting the sampling handler here. We are just passing it to the MCP Telegram, as I've said. This MCP Telegram MCP server would be using this MCP handler to manage, to give responses to the Telegram chat. So these tools, like we are getting the tools from here. So we have like various Telegram related functions if we want to use, but in this project we are not using those. Uh, so this would only be using the sampling handler in this project. So again, we are giving the tools, but in this project we won't be using it. Um, and here again, we can see the Telegram agent. So for the sampling handler, we are just passing the runner of the root agent that we have, create task manager master agent. So this particular agent has now the capability to actually do reminders and also can manage our shopping list. So what we are doing, we are just passing in the ask method in here. So every time user sends message in the Telegram chat, this runner.ask is run with that particular user message. So if, for example, user asks, what is it? I would like to add bring bread to my shopping list. So that particular query would be sent to this runner.ask. This runner is coming from our root agent, because root agent is capable of delegating it to the sub agents and doing the work. It should be able to do. So yeah, this is the runner that we have, and also we are doing some cron job just so we can have the schedules working. This is also a bit more logic intensive, but it is not really needed for understanding of the ADK itself. So yeah, here we just have like the cron jobs. Basically, we have the state in here. So if you want to get the state outside the framework, uh, like this, you can export the session service like we did in here. We are also exporting the session service. The main reason why we are doing this session and then creating the session with the session service, even though the agent builder would be capable of doing it itself, is to actually get this session service outside. So since we get the session service here, we are exporting it, and since we are exporting the session service, we can use it inside the reminder notification here. So in here we are actually getting the session, active session, we are getting the state, and since we are storing all the reminders and then the schedules here, we can basically check, and if we and every cron job we can check if the reminder is due or not. If it is due, then we are sending the reminder notification actually. So this send reminder notification is actually coming from the Telegram bot that we have. Um, yeah, so here we have Telegram runner. We are giving it to the Telegram runner to the notification service. So basically, whenever the schedule is due, we are just passing it. I mean, we are just using the runner that we have, the Telegram runner, to basically send the message to the Telegram again. So we'll be demoing this, so it will, we can see everything how it works and all. So for running this, we need to set our yeah, env. So we have like the Google API key. We will be revoking this after this stream, and we have the database URL. Is there a resource to know current state of the MCP? Talking of expanding it. Resource to know the current state of the MCP. What do you mean by that? Talking of expanding. Yeah, I mean, for the MCP related features, actually, you can just go through the ADK docs, and there is like a section for the MCP servers here. So we actually provide some of the MCP servers um, by ourselves, so you can easily use if you want to use any of these. And if you don't find any of the MCP server that is pre-written, you can even write your own MCP servers. Writing your own MCP servers is also easy. You can do ADK new, and then you can just proceed with, oh, for example, here MCP. Yeah, here that is like the MCP integration. You can use this. The template uses fast MCP, so you can easily create MCP servers. I hope I answered your question. So yeah, coming back to this, so we have env. We set our API key, and we need the database URL. So another question that we are getting is how to actually deploy our project. So in this part of the session, actually, I would be showing you how to actually deploy. So if I go through dev.in, so this is deploying with railway. So for quickly deploying the databases and also the projects, railway is a good provider. So database have to be first generating a SQL database, because we are using a database session. Uh, so yeah, we can copy the database URL here. Again, we'll be closing this once the stream is done. So we have database URL, and the Telegram bot token, you can actually get it from the bot further actually. So in this case, I'll bringing back my, yeah. So you can go through the bot further, and then you can just create new bot. So to get this bot further, you have to actually search for bot further in the Telegram. You will get it, and then you can go it, and then you can just do create bot. So I already have one. I have a token. I named it task master bot. So I just copied this bot token and then paste it in here. And you also need to get your Telegram channel ID that you're going to speak in. So I click on this. This is my Telegram channel with the bot that we have in here. So to actually run it, we can do pnpm dev, but then I would like to showcase it. Yeah, it actually runs. You can make it work locally, but I would want to actually deploy it in railway. So yeah, we have the database URL. I hope I pasted it already. Yeah, and we have this actually deployed it on GitHub as well, and this is running. So since it is on GitHub, you can go to again create in your project, and then you can link a GitHub repo to this. So I have like the task master bot, and just click on deploy. Yeah, it just deploys. And for the variables, you actually need to like pass all this. If not, it won't work. Yeah, so all these, yeah, and deploying again. So in this case, it actually deploys. Like how it deploys is we have a build command in our project. So we are using the TS up. Yeah, we are using TS up for the build. It uses our TS up config. So it uses this config to actually build it, and then it runs the start command. So node this index.js. So railway, since we linked it with the GitHub, it automatically recognizes these start and build commands from our package.json, and it automatically runs them. So far, like it builds first, and then after the build is done, it would be deploying it. Yeah, now it is deploying. Yeah, so the build is done, still deploying. Okay, yeah, I think it's now active. Yeah, you can see like this same um, message that we're getting. It is now running in the production now. So you can see here the MCP client is initialized. Now the bot is active, and also like the notification service and all are also. Oh, actually, this is from the previous build, I think. Yeah, now it again starts with the new build that we added the anyways. Yeah, it starts all the services that we have. Basically, it is running this index.ts file, and then it is keeping the process alive because we need the cron job to work. And now since this is done, we can actually start the chart with our taskmaster bot. Basically, yeah, now we can see the logs in here while we are getting it. So I can say ping list. Let's see if it responds. Yeah, so we can see that it is actually getting it, and then it is processing. Yeah, I get a notification here. It did add the bread to my shopping list. That's cool. And you can see, oh, actually I would like to add more, so you can add milk, xm paste, paste. So I given it multiple, yeah, and it added it pretty much easily. So these are our shopping lists. Oh, okay. In this case, like it has the quantity as well, but by default it is using now one. So I can even update it. Like let's say I would rather get 12 x is update. Yeah, it updated to 12x. So we can actually go inside our database, and we can actually see what data that we have in here. So yeah, we can see the in the database we have app states, events, sessions, and user states. So we should have one session. Yeah, we have the default session, and in here in the state you can actually see the bread, the quantity, and then the milk, and then the eggs, the 12 that is updated. Yeah, this is the state that we're keeping track of. We don't have any reminders, so let's see if we can also ask it to remind us something. Remind me to um, in perhaps 1 minute. Hopefully it should work, or I'm not sure if it could take MIM. Oh yeah, actually I think it did recognize it as a minute. So awesome. We can even see that the logs actually get processed for this. So yeah, it is in fact calling the reminders agent, and then calling the tools and setting the reminders. We can also see the database that we have in here, the session. Yeah, go take crash, schedule time. So this is scheduled now. The state is also updated. Since the state is updated, we have notification service running in the background always. So when this particular time is passed, it would send us the message in the uh, Telegram itself. So it would send us the message in 1 minute. But before that, we can also like try some more. Actually, the tools that we have in here, it can add reminders, and then it can even do the scheduled reminders. So yeah, in this case, yeah, we got the reminder alert that is scheduled. Yeah, we can even do actually remind me to every a minute. It's a bit intense, but we should be able to also schedule it. Yeah, we can. Yeah, since the reminder is actually done, the previous one it went away from the state. Our account is set. Oh, okay, okay. You can't actually set the recurring reminders every 1 minute. So yeah, let's do daily. Hmm. Yeah, now we do have our reminders, and again I can ask what is my list. it can actually recall based on the tools that we have. It fetches the state from the context, and then yeah, it shows it. So yes, I think that's it for the Taskmaster board. So this project is actually aimed to teach you about the state management that we have, how to use actual database and how to deploy, and also how to use the Telegram integration with MCP, and also how to actually like run it with the cron jobs and all as well, because most of the agents would actually be inside cron jobs. If you are doing agents or sort of actually researching about like maybe investment opportunities in crypto, you want to do it inside a cron job, and even some processing of documents and all these stuff, you actually need to do it inside a cron job. So this is how it is recommended to be done. And also we have the agent architecture. We'll be posting this particular project GitHub link after this stream. You can go through all the files again and then go through how it is structured. And there is also detailed architecture that we have in here, so you can go after the stream and you can explore yourself. So I think that's it from my side. I would be giving my back to Timonwa.
Okay, so thank you, Sujan, for that wonderful demo. So we saw how we could structure an agent that has multiple agents or tools, how we could make them work together. We also saw how we could use section to manage states across different agents. So that was very insightful. So before we move on to Marvel again, there are some questions that were in the chat. So one said, how do I use MCP with my agent? So to use MCP with your agent, we already have, if you check our documentation, you can use our built-in MCPs or you can use custom MCPs. So Sujran, can you like explain to us how we can be able to use both types and methods of MCPs with our projects?
MCP with your agent, actually you can just I mean, if you have like a custom MCP that you want to use, you can just use MCP toolset that we have. You can import it from ADK-TS. And again, we have like the documentation for it, how to actually implement use MCP servers with the agents. Basically, you just use MCP toolset. You pass in the configuration that you have as your HDIO. If you use npx, then command npx and then args, and then you just do MCP toolset dot get tools, and then evaluate and you get the tools from it, and you just pass that tools to the LLM agent
It's
or
4 o'clock.
with tools, and you can pass it to agent builder. So that is how you actually use MCP with ADK-TS.
Okay, thank you. So the next question uh, was, someone was asking that he said for his project he used Olama and everything works perfectly in the front end and in the back end. But if it's to submit his project now, how would the judges test it using the Olama?
I think yeah, you can just pass it inside your README, so the judges can actually follow the way of how to test it. I think it should be easy to set up Olama and test as well. And if you are like good enough, I mean, you can also just pass in the free Gemini API if it is working fine with Gemini, your prompts and all. So it is also pretty much easy without installing Olama. Even for the people who want to try your projects that don't want to install Olama on their machines.
Okay. So thank you. I hope that answers your question, Mustafa and Agents with Zan. So now we'll be moving on to the final part of the workshop, which is how to deploy your project. So now that you guys are almost done with your projects, your agents, you would like to like deploy them. So there are different ways you could deploy the project into different platforms and such. So we are going to have Marvel to talk more about deploying your agents and what are the different setups or ways you can do that. So let me add him to the screen now. So hi Marvel, glad to have you back.
Okay, so I'll be talking about deploying your agents. As at the making of this, or as at this live stream, a new documentation page has been added to ADK Docs, and it gives instruction on how to deploy your agent, which is really important as we get closer to the end of the hackathon. So your agents can pretty much run in any environment you can deploy something to, meaning we can run your agent on Vessel, Netlify, Render, so on and so forth. Um, for this example, we'll be using Railway, and you can see in Sujan's demonstration, it uses Railway. Railway allows for you, I think, creating a free account, it allows for you to gives free $5 credit and free trial for 30 days, which can be quite helpful during the hackathon period. In our example today, we'll be talking about deploying with Railway and Docker, and the documentation pretty much covers it. You could deploy by creating a Docker file. Any Docker file, you include the Node.js version you want to use, enabling a package manager. In our case, we use PNPM, setting the work directory for safety, and copying our log files, installing the just standard Docker file configs. Then we can build our Docker image using the Docker build command. Now, depending on the platform you choose, you might or the configuration of your Docker file, you might need to build a platform specific image, or you might need to just build something that runs with your local machine. In our example, we stuck to the platform specific image by selecting Linux AMD64. So we're going to be deploying our agent here, the Telegram bot, which is a bot connected to our IQ AI platform, trading platform, and has access to trading information on the platform. I think we can run it using ADK run. Gives us quick list of all the agents, and we can say, oh, list 5, list 5 agents on ATP using the market cap. So it has access to the agent trading platform, and we can do can perform actions there. Um, but again, for our example, what's important is deploying these agents we have. So we're gonna be running our command docker build. Um, yeah, might be important for you to log in at first. So you use the docker login command. Uh, we assume you already have Docker CLI installed and configured. So using the docker build command, the syntax is setting up your Docker username, which in my case it's Marvel code, right? My agent name, which in this case I'll be using demo Telegram agent, and the tag. So a tag kind of points like versioning of your agent. So in this case, I'm just gonna call it latest, and the dot points to the root file where it is to search for your Docker file. So in this case, it's my root file. So hence the dot. Um, the Docker build is complete. That was very fast. And now we'll be pushing our newly created Docker image to Docker Cloud. And for that, you use the Docker push command. Again, we'll replace the placeholders with the tags matching what we have created here. So our tag name is latest. Our agent name is demo telegram agents. But before we do that, username, so it's easier. Cool. So we push that. So while that push, let's wait for it to push. Awesome. So we've pushed our image to Docker Cloud. If you check, Docker Hub, you can find it there. In this case, let me quickly refresh, and we have it here, Docker demo Telegram agent. So we can go to Railway, create a new account on Railway. Creating a new account, you get, like I mentioned earlier, 30 days free trials, or the equivalent of $5 of free credits. And quickly we can create a new project. In the previous example, it was created using direct connection to GitHub repository, which is also covered in the documentation. But you could also create by pushing the Docker image here. And pushing it, you just need to, depending on the registry you use, you just need to get your this, right? So you just need to get this and paste it right there. Since it's a public image, yeah, you can check the image visibility. If it's a private image, you might need to come here and set it to public view. I think you can find that somewhere on the Docker dashboard. But since it's a public image, this is going to work out of the box by default. So click enter, and it quickly gets that image from Docker Hub. Now it gives you the option to set up your env while it deploys in the background. So quickly we're going to copy our env here and set it up quickly. New env, paste, and deploy. So there we go. Our deploy was successful and the agent is live right now. So really quick process. Now some issues we might run into, or some common mistakes rather. One, not setting up your env. Easy to mess up. Maybe deploying before setting the env and running into that error. We also are likely to run into an error with incompatible image. That's where your Docker file is not set to run on a particular environment, or is set to run on an environment that is different from you know the deploy platform. It's in that case we kind of prefer this command or recommend this command instead. And yeah, those are the missing the errors you might run into. You might run into CI failure, but that's dependent on your code. So you can debug that by either checking the GitHub action when you push, or checking your terminal locally. Um, this agent we deployed now is available on Telegram, so we could quickly check it out. So currently the tool is not implemented, but we can get a list of agents. So yeah, the tool is currently deployed, and this way it's easily tested by the IQ AI team behind the hackathon. So that is it quickly for deploying an agent. You can find this doc at adk.iqa.com. Really coming to the homepage. You can just find it under guides, deploying an agent. So that is it for this session of deploying your agents. I'll be passing back to Timora.
Thank you so much, Marvel. And so we've seen how we could deploy our agent for on let me see, I've forgotten them, railway. So we saw how to deploy our agents on railway using Docker. So there are other ways that you could deploy your agents, and more documentation, more guides on that will be coming up soon. So right now we've come to the end of this workshop, and I'm so happy to those who stayed to the end. So I hope that with everything that we've learned so far, you it gives you like more confidence to able to like complete your project and submit it for the hackathon. So remember that the submission ends in 5 days, which should be next week Thursday. So try your best to like polish your project, make everything look so perfect. And like I said in the last workshop we had, if when you are submitting your project, ensure that your readme is very comprehensive, so that it will be easier for the judges to be able to test your projects on their system. Or and then you could also submit a live demo. So you could record a demo maximum of 5 minutes on how your agent works, and then you could either upload it to YouTube or Google Drive or Loom and drop the link while you are submitting your project. So that's it, guys. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Marvel. Thank you, Shujan, for that wonderful presentations. So till next time, guys. Happy building. Bye bye.